Baldur's Gate 3 is racist.
Yank.
But it's not what you think. Any D&D player will tell you that Dungeons & Dragons has an incredibly vast selection of races to choose from to play. In the recently released game Baldur's Gate 3, which is based off of D&D 5e rules, you can choose from up to 11 different races, not including sub-races such as Deep Gnome or High Elf, to play through. A playthrough using most any race will lead to very similar interactions with other NPC characters. However, certain races, we'll go with Drow in this case, present some unique interactions that are very noticeable at the very beginning of the game. One of the first examples you'll see is when you go to rescue Lae'zel from the two Tieflings that have her captured. The Tieflings see you immediately as a threat, calling you a deep elf and readying their weapons. Now, normally with other races like dwarves or humans, it tends to be a much more amicable situation where you can glean information from them and politely convince them to leave the situation for you to take care of. However, if you're a Drow, they actually intend to attack you, leaving you only two options in this interaction: intimidation or retaliation. I chose intimidation in this case, as I didn't want to start off with unneeded bloodshed. Let's take a look.
You think it's...
Zoru was right. Yellow as a toad, twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them. Holy house. Under elf.
Lay tight, Nymessa.
Demaze.
Come, Nymessa. Now.
Ironically enough, another race subject to prejudice in Baldur's Gate 3 are Tieflings themselves, often being called things like Hellspawn and Devils.
Let my daughter go right now!
She's a thief, Hellspawn. And you will wait for Korga's judgment. Now get back!
They too face the hardships that Drow also seem to have, the only difference being it's far more common and acceptable to see Tieflings strutting about the street every other day. Totally normal situation. You see a Drow though. Nah. Apparently that's not okay. We can actually see evidence of how little Drow are seen with this next clip, so let's take a look at that.
Oh, and if it's of any concern, you're brave to walk around without hiding your heritage. I'll make sure everyone knows that you helped us at the gate.
Congratulations, Zevlor, you are not a racist. Which is more than I can say for this druid, which has no fecks to give and no cares to have. Let's take a look.
You, step back. We'll not tolerate Drow in here.
But this druid has nothing on Kaga, the current leader of the druids at the time of this particular playthrough, as you'll see when she's interrogating a child, and she's saying such venomous things. You'll see here in just a moment.
Please. I'm sorry.
This is madness, Korga. She's just a...
A what, Wrath? A thief? A poison? A threat? I will imprison the devil. And I will cast out every stranger. We will speak soon enough. First, judgment must be passed. The parasite eats our food, drinks our water, then steals our most holy idol in thanks. Wrath, lock her up. She remains here until the rite is complete. And keep still, devil. Tila is restless.
Come, Korga. We took back the idol. Surely...
Do it.
In an area further ahead are goblins. They usually try to ambush you, but as a Drow, however, they simply just cower in fear and listen to your commands. Correctly assuming that you are a true soul, as a Drow normally would not be traveling in sunlight. They can't stand it. They don't like it.
You spotted us. Good. It's like they say.
Wait, a drow? In the sun? Stand down! This one's got a touch of the absolute about her. Apologies, your lordship. Hard making you out from a distance. Of course. Come and go as you like. Move it, lads! And show some respect.
Further ahead to another point in that same little camp, you can rescue a deep gnome, only for him to believe you mean to enslave him. If you were to save him as a dragonborn, a dwarf, a high elf, what have you, he merely expects to be extorted. That's pretty sad. But nah, man, we're cool. Now, as awful as this sounds, this does give us a small glimpse of what the relationship between Drow and other races are, as well as with other Drow. Since there are two subgroups you can choose to be as a Drow. The followers of Celadarin, or Celadarine, I don't really know how to pronounce that, are much more agreeable and level-headed, whereas the followers of Lolth are often twisted and prone to evil deeds to appease their spider queen. Now, most people in the D&D world generally know only the Lolth subset of Drow, which is why they're generally persecuted or not welcome in many places. You'll kind of see that as we look at this clip with the Deep Gnome and kind of get a feel for what I'm talking about.
Ugh. Baga Kamara. There's pustulant thugs. Well, get on with it. I'm a deep gnome, you're a drow. You helped me, now you plan to enslave me.
I would like to point out that the point of this video is to praise the game's use of D&D lore and its absolutely incredible storytelling techniques, and not promote anything offensive. Using literary devices such as this not only lends itself to compelling storytelling, but also an immersive world that gives way to unique styles of gameplay. Will the player lean into the discrimination? Will they fight it? It's all up to you as the player as to how your character will react in the face of adversity, giving you even more input on the story and how the people in the world perceive you. Moving about and interacting with other NPCs will definitely have a new perspective as you try to navigate situations and solve problems with the immense burden of the Drow stereotype. All in all, I think Baldur's Gate 3 has handled its storytelling and all its literary devices exceedingly well. I finished the game like a week or two after it released. I was able to get through it, and the ending that I was able to get, because there's multiple endings, it was just amazing. It was one of the greatest games I've ever played. It literally brought me to tears. It is a great game, and I highly recommend this game for anyone who plays Dungeons and Dragons, anyone who's ever been interested in Dungeons and Dragons. This is a really good way to get introduced into that world. There's so many complexities, and it touches on so many different issues and other things that I just can't put in one video. Like, I really, really enjoy this game. This is definitely one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. It's like way up there. So I really hope everybody tries this game out. I really hope everybody gives it a really fair shake, because this is one of the best games I've played in a really long time. And I honestly wasn't even planning on playing this, but I started seeing some gameplay and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Turns out, love it. One of my favorite games of all time. Leave a like if you enjoyed this kind of content, and comment down below what your favorite D&D race is and why. I want to know more about what kind of other things that people like to play, as well as your favorite class. My favorite fantasy race of all time, dwarves. Favorite class, usually wizards or other kind of spellcasters. So let me know what yours is down in the comments below. And until then, have a great day.